In the Dominican Republic, the sun is warm, and the people's hearts are even warmer. But when night falls, old stories wake up. They are stories whispered from grandmothers to their grandkids. They are tales of mystery, magic, and warning. One of these tales is about a creature called the Baka. It's not just a monster from a storybook. For many, it's a real and powerful spirit. The Baka is a guardian, but its protection comes at a very high price. It's a mystery born from the island's deep history, a mix of African, Taino, and Spanish beliefs that have blended for many centuries, creating something uniquely Dominican. The Baka is a figure of deep folklore. It's a creature of pacts and promises. People say it's a spirit that a person can call upon to protect their property. Imagine a farmer with a big sugarcane field or a rich man with a beautiful house. He might want a guardian that never sleeps, a protector that no thief would dare challenge. This is when someone might think of the Baka. But this is not a simple deal. It's a deal made in the shadows, a contract with forces that are old and not always kind. The Baka is a choice, a dangerous path taken for the promise of safety and wealth. This mystical being is deeply woven into rural life. In the countryside, where nights are dark and the sounds of nature are loud, the belief in spirits like the Baka is strong. It's part of daily talk, a warning given to children who wander too far after dark. The stories are not just for fun, they are lessons. They teach about wanting things, about the dangers of wanting too much, too fast. The Baka stands for a shortcut to success, but it's a shortcut that leads through a dark and tricky forest where one can easily get lost, and some say, even lose their soul. So what is this creature? It's a shapeshifter, a spirit that can take many forms. It's a guardian, a protector of treasures. It's also a curse, a heavy burden for the one who calls it. The Baka is a symbol of a powerful truth, that everything in life has a cost. The most valuable things, like wealth and power, often demand the highest payment. In the quiet corners of the Dominican Republic, the legend of the Baka lives on. A reminder that some secrets are best left untouched, and some powers are best left unclaimed, for the peace of one's own spirit. The Baka doesn't have just one shape, that's part of its mystery. People say it can show up as a huge dark dog, with eyes that glow like hot coals. Others have seen it as a giant bull, with sharp horns and its breath like a storm. It might even take the form of a big cat, silent and deadly, or a tall, shadowy man watching from far away. What people do agree on is its presence. You feel the Baka before you see it. A sudden chill fills the air. The night becomes strangely quiet. That's how you know it's near. A powerful old spirit guarding its land with an unseen force. Creating or calling forth a Baka is not an easy job. It's a dark and secret ritual. The stories say a person has to make a pact, a deal with a powerful evil spirit, often a demon. This ritual is done in a hidden place, far from people's eyes, maybe at a crossroads at midnight or deep inside a cave. The person offers something very valuable. Sometimes it's the life of an animal, but the darker tales say the price is much, much higher. The Baka demands a sacrifice, and in return, it promises to protect the person's land and wealth with fierce loyalty, making them rich and successful. Once the deal is made, the Baka becomes a tireless guardian. It patrols its master's property, invisible to most but terrifying to those who try to cross it. Thieves who try to steal from a farm protected by a Baka meet a terrible fate. They might be chased by a monstrous animal that seems to appear out of nowhere, or they might get lost and confused, unable to find their way out. The Baka's power is absolute within its area. It makes sure its master's wealth grows, their crops are plentiful, and nothing harms their belongings. It's the ultimate security system, powered by dark magic. However, this protection is a heavy chain. The master of a Baka is never truly free. The spirit demands payment, not just at the start, but forever. The most terrifying part of the legend is that when the master dies, the Baka demands the soul of their firstborn, or another family member, as its final payment. If the family can't pay the price, the Baka will torment them for generations, bringing bad luck and sadness. The wealth it helped build will turn to dust. This is the terrible deal. Temporary riches on earth, in exchange for an eternal curse on one's own family line. There's a story about a young man named Ramon. He lived in a small village near the mountains. His family was poor, and he worked hard every day just to have enough food. Not far from his village lived a very rich man named Señor Castillo. This man owned huge lands filled with coffee plants and cattle. His wealth seemed to grow overnight. The people in the village whispered about him. They said he hadn't earned his fortune just by hard work. They believed he had a Baka, a powerful spirit that guarded his property and brought him endless luck. Ramon heard the stories, but never really believed them. One night, Ramon's goat, which he loved very much, wandered off. He searched everywhere for it, and its tracks led him towards the edge of Señor Castillo's land, near a dark winding river. The moon was hidden behind thick clouds, and the air was still and heavy. Ramon was scared, but he loved his goat and couldn't leave it. As he walked along the riverbank, calling softly for it, he felt a sudden chill. The crickets stopped chirping, the frogs went silent. An unnatural quiet fell over the land, and Ramon's heart began to beat like a drum against his ribs. He felt something unseen watching him. Suddenly, from the shadows under a big mango tree, he saw it. Two red eyes, like burning embers, stared at him from the darkness. They blinked slowly. A low growl, deeper and scarier than any dog's, echoed in the silence. It wasn't a normal animal. It was big, and its shape was like a large black dog, but it seemed made of shadows and moonlight. Ramon froze, his blood turning to ice in his veins. He knew at that moment that the village whispers were true. He was looking at Señor Castillo's Baka. He had trespassed on its land. Without thinking, Ramon turned and ran. He didn't look back. He ran faster than he had ever run in his life, his feet barely touching the ground. He could hear the heavy breathing of the creature behind him, the sound of its large paws hitting the ground. He didn't stop running until he burst through the door of his small home, his body shaking and his face pale with terror. He never saw the Baka again, and he never went near Señor Castillo's land after dark. He had learned his lesson. Some fortunes are built on foundations of fear, and it's wise to stay away from them. The Baka is feared in Dominican culture for a very clear reason. It stands for a deal with darkness. It's a sign of greed and the risky shortcuts people take to get what they want. The fear isn't just of the creature itself, with its glowing eyes and monster-like forms. It's a deeper fear of what the Baka stands for. It's the fear of losing your soul, of giving up family and the future for money that won't last. People respect the Baka's power, but it's a respect born out of terror. It's a cautionary tale that warns against making promises to forces you don't understand. The legend of the Baka is important because it's like a mirror of human nature. It explores the never-ending fight between good and evil, patience and greed, community and selfishness. In a culture that values family and faith, the Baka is the ultimate outsider. It's made by someone who breaks the rules, who separates from their community and their faith to make a selfish deal. The stories remind people that true wealth isn't found in land or money, but in family, in community, and in a clear conscience. The Baka's owner might be rich, but they are also terribly alone. Even today, in a world of technology and science, the legend of the Baka continues. Grandmothers still gather children on the porch at dusk and tell them the story. They might point to a rich neighbor's house and whisper, "They say he has a Baka." It's a way to teach important lessons. These stories aren't just to scare kids into behaving. They are a form of cultural wisdom, passed down from one generation to the next. They teach right from wrong in an exciting and unforgettable way. The Baka lives in spoken stories, a powerful part of Dominican identity. The Baka's final lesson is about balance and what happens next. It teaches that every action has a reaction, and that wanting easy power and wealth often leads to ruin. The story warns that things we get through dark or dishonest ways will eventually be taken from us, and at a much higher cost. It encourages people to value hard work, patience, and faith over quick, magical fixes. The Baka, this mysterious creature of shadow and power, continues to be a powerful teacher, reminding us all that the brightest treasures are those earned with an honest heart and clean hands.